Hi, everybody. I am so happy to be here with all of you today. And I'm Najah Lightfoot, award-winning author of Good Juju, Mojos, Rites, and Practices for the Magical Soul. And I'm really excited to be here with all of you today. I want to thank Llewellyn for blessing me to be part of their very first LlewellynCon and to sit here and talk to you guys about the topic of it's okay to spiritually protect yourself. I feel like that's probably a really good topic based on the times we're living in and the things that are going on in the world right now. And with that said, before we get started, I am going to take a moment here and just ask that we take a moment of silence to honor the name of George Floyd, because we all know, I'm assuming everyone on this chat knows that what happened to George Floyd, that he was murdered, and people watched that live, and his death has just sent a shockwave through the world. And as someone who honors her ancestors and works magic for positive change, I just need to take a moment here and talk about and say George Floyd's name and just take a moment of silence, and then we'll delve into our topic. All righty. So let's get started here. We are talking about the topic of it's okay to spiritually protect yourself. And before we get into the few things that I want to share to you about that, because I do have a few specific things I want to talk to you. I want to start with some assumptions. We're going to make some assumptions here about some basic premises of how we live our lives just as human beings. And with that said, I believe that most people on this call, when they leave their homes, they lock their doors. They close their windows at night, unless you live somewhere where it's hot and you want some air coming through, or like me, I'm an air sign, so I need some air blowing, but I don't leave all my windows open. When I drive my car, when I get out, I lock my car doors. And so on a daily basis, we do protection for ourselves to protect our homes, the things that are valuable to us, to watch over our loved ones, our friends, and our family. So when you're talking about spiritual protection, it falls in the same vein. It's something that you do for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends. It's not anything that you do so you can walk around and go, oh, I'm spiritually protected. So, no harm's going to come to me. And, I'm this badass and I can be a bully to people. No, it's totally not that at all. This is something that you do that comes from within, that you layer up just like you put on your clothes every day. Spiritual protection is something that you can do in layers, and you can start simply. You can start small. I'm a pretty simple, magical worker. I've studied lots of complex things, but I tend to be a pretty simple, let's just get this done. And if you've read my book, I'm very much about having a spiritual practice. A practice is something that grows as you do it in time and effort over time. I've also studied martial arts for about 10 years, and I was blessed to achieve the rank of second degree black belt. So I do, I am about self defense. And there's a saying: would you rather face someone who knows to do 10,000 things but's only done those 10,000 things once, or would you rather be afraid of that person who has that one good move but they've done it 10,000 times? So that's kind of like where we go with in spiritual protection and working magic. You want to do it over and over again. And as you do that, you grow in strength and power. You put in the time and effort. The other thing about having a practice and doing something is that I will assume that if you're on this call, you believe in magic and that you have faith, or you're trying to develop faith and confidence that it works. Because if you don't believe, then why do it? It's pretty simple. And belief grows in power and strength as you do it over time. And your faith grows in strength and power as you do it over time. Also, if you work magic and you do things in a spellcraft way, I would also assume that you believe in a force greater than yourself. If you believe in nature or your gods, goddesses, deities, your religion, whatever that is to you, you believe in a power that greater than yourself. And so those are like the basic things that you want to start from when you're doing protective magic. First, you believe that it's going to work. You have a belief in a higher power, however that shows up for you, and you do it on a daily basis. So let's jump into, I'm looking at my clock here because I don't want to run over. Let's jump into some basic things that you can do as to protect yourself. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the power of the pentagram. Okay, a pentagram is a 5-pointed star within a circle. So it's the power of fire, earth, air, water, and spirit in a circle. And contrary to what people may have led us all to believe, it's not an evil symbol, it's a symbol of protection. And you can use that on a daily basis. You can do a very simple rite where you draw a pentagram on a paper, or you can purchase a pentacle. You can light a white candle and place it on that pentagram. Call upon your higher powers to protect yourself. If it's not safe for you to have a pentagram or a pentacle out in your home or work, you can just draw it on a piece of paper, or you can use chalk, which is really cool. And you can draw your pentagram on a surface, place your candle on it, and light that candle, go into your faith, go into your space, and ask for protection over your loved ones. And that's something you can do every day, or on the new moon, or on the full moon, or every Wednesday or Thursday, whatever that works for you. So that's an easy way to like just start working with the power of protection. So that's something really fun that you can do. I also have written about that. You can even draw pentagrams inside your clothes with chalk and wash them off. I do practice magic from my ancestors. I've studied hoodoo, and we do things in secret. And that's also something I want to talk about. When you're doing protective magic, one of the first laws is to dare, to know, to will, and to keep silent. Okay, when you're working protective magic for yourself, your family, don't go out and say, "Hey, I just cast this spell of protection." Well, what good is that? You do it, you keep it to yourself. If you're going to do it for somebody else, you get an agreement with them. Hey, you want me to light a candle for you? I'm willing to do that, but you don't go telling the world about your protective magic and blasting it out, because then you've ruined it. You got to learn to keep things secret and grow in power and strength with that. The next thing you can do is salt. Everybody loves salt. I mean, salt is just one of the elements of our earth, and salt was so valuable that, in Roman times, they paid people in salt, and that's where the root of the word salary comes from, and hence the phrase, "Oh, is she worth her salt?" So anyway, you can always use salt to lay down a protective barrier around your home. But in conjure and hoodoo, we like to work with red brick dust. So my ancestors, when they came to the United States and they were enslaved, they came with the knowledge of ochre. And ochre is a type of red clay that you can find in Africa. And they would cover themselves and their bodies. And I think it's the Maasai tribe. Don't quote me on that. But you can look that up and you can see African people with red clay on their bodies. Well, when my enslaved ancestors came to the South, there wasn't any ochre, but there was bricks. So you can use red bricks, and then you have that power of the brick and the masons, and so it's so much fun to get a brick and like take a chunk off of it and grind that up in your mortar and pestle. And you can add salt to that red brick dust. I bought already pre-made red brick dust from some of my magical friends. I live in Denver, and on my travels to New Orleans, I brought back my own bricks from New Orleans, and I've taken chunks out of it and mixed it with some salt, or you can use some magical protective herbs if you need references for that. There's Scott Cunningham's wonderful book of magical herbs. There's Hoodoo Herb and Root Magic by Cat Ironwood that has a list of powerful herbs. There's tons of Llewellyn authors that have just written all kinds of good books on using magical herbs. Some quick ones are eucalyptus, rosemary. You can even use the essential oils of that and add that to a salt mixture with red brick dust in it, or you can just mix up the salt. And then if you're really savvy and you want to know about spiritual cleansing, sometimes we even use our own urine to lay down a protective barrier. Yes, I did say urine. It's what we call personal concerns, if you want to have a nice word for it. But it's just like an animal laying down a track. And so what you do is you get up early in the morning, and if you're going to put down this salt mixture of protection or red brick dust of protection, then what you want to do is do that in the quiet hours of the early morning or in the middle of the night when nobody can see you. And so there's something about that magical time, when you're up in the morning before the sun rises and the earth and the world is quiet, and you're out there laying down your salt or your red brick dust, or you're lighting your candle on your pentagram, and you enter into a state of reverence and a state of faith and belief that this magic that you're going to work is going to help protect you. Now, we're not superheroes. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I did all this stuff, so nothing bad's going to ever happen to me or my family or my friends and loved ones, because we know bad things happen. But it's just like locking your doors. You're trying to do it, so hopefully nothing untoward will kind of breach that door, and you don't want to give them the opportunity. They've said, like, I have a dog, like people just look for an opportunity. And if they come up on you and you've got this aura of protection around you, they're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't fuck with her. No, I might not want to do that. Let me go over here and mess with these people. And that's kind of like what you're doing when you set up your spiritual protection. And then finally, what I want to talk about too, I'm checking my time here so I don't run over. In this layer, like you can do your pentagram on your candle. You can lay down red brick dust under your threshold. You put it out in front of your house. If you don't live where you have a home, you could just put it, like inside your doorway of your apartment. There's also railroad spikes, which are really great. I wrote about railroad spikes. They have the power of iron and then the power of like that locomotive that ran over it. And so you can get railroad spikes, and these need to be old, real ones, from antique stores. Of course, it's hard to get out right now, but maybe, someone will send them to you, or you can take a walk if you live somewhere near a track, and you get that power of a locomotive running over a railroad spike, and then you can bless it. And one of the things I always use to bless and cleanse with is Florida water. Here's my bottle of Florida water. It's right here. Florida water is great. It's a great protective agent. It smells really good. You can cleanse your railroad spike. You can put it on your body. You can anoint your doors with it. Florida water has a long history of magical uses. So, and you can pretty much get Florida water anywhere. It actually was manufactured as like a cooling agent to keep things cool, keep your head cool. So Florida water is great, and I have bottles of Florida water everywhere. The other thing, and then what you can do with your railroad spikes is you can nail down your property. You can bless them. You could even put them, when you do your ritual with your pentagram and your candle. You could lay your railroad spike out there. You could bless it with salt. You could pee on it. Then you could like bury that, like nail down your property with it. So you're like nailing it down, putting that protection down. If you don't have a home or you go outside and put that in your yard, you could put it in a flower pot. You could also do that in your office if you're going back to work and you feel a little nervous about things. You could bury your railroad spike in a pot of dirt, and then you could put a plant over it, and your plant could grow in there. Now, if you're not a gardener, because some of us don't have natural green thumbs, get a fake plant, just keep it real. You can put a fake plant, and then you got your railroad spike and your dirt and your pot, and that's there. And so there's all kinds of ways. So your magic becomes you. We give you ideas. I give you ideas to start with, but as you practice them, you might come up with some different ways and things that work for you. You got to put yourself in your magic. And then finally, what I've written about extensively, which I learned as a novice witch, and I've continued to do it for many years, is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And I love saying that, and it's commonly referred to as the LBRP. And there's tons of books written on it, but it's basically calling upon the power of the archangels to protect you, and doing the pentagram in 4 directions and calling upon the directions to protect you. And it's a long rite, but it's simple and it's complex. So once you learn how to do it, then you can do it whenever you want to. You can just say those words and you call upon fire, earth, air, water, and spirit, and the archangels and the names of the divine to protect yourself. And these are things that you can do on a daily basis. You can, call upon the archangels. You can do your rites of protection. And it's okay to spiritually protect yourself. What I want to say during these times is just give people that permission that, as magical people, we have tools available to us. And just like people say their prayers and of all different other faiths and walks and religion, we too have our magical prayers. And I just feel like when you do spells, you're just taking that faith and you're combining it with physical action. And one thing that I like about doing spellcraft and work is that you, when you do it, you get your hands into it, or you're using symbols, or you actually use earth. You use a spike. You can hold that in your hand and feel that iron. You get up in the morning and you know, you kind of get into that magical vein, and you put the work down. You throw salt out there, or you lay down your red brick dust, or even just that simple act of lighting a candle over a pentagram. You'd be surprised. Just drawing it on a piece of paper and then putting your candle in a fireproof candle holder and setting that on top of your paper with your pentagram on it can just be such a powerful act. Um, and then if you want to get into, you know, if you know you're just starting out, you can just take your candle and bless it. But we also do what's called dressing and fixing of candles. One of the things that you do when you can use Florida water to cleanse your candle. And if this was a candle, you just take your candle and take some Florida water and wipe around the middle, and then you swipe up and swipe down. And I like to say, as above, so below, when I'm cleansing my candles. And then you could take a stick pin or a little nail, and then you can carve words of protection into that candle. You could say, protect me, protect my family. You can use just a simple word of protection on that candle, and then you can light that candle and put that on your pentagram, and then your candle's carved with words of protection. The other thing that you can do, which is great, talking about building a practice, is if possible, when you sit down to do the rite with the candle and the pentagram, if you have time, you can allow that candle to burn all the way down. And that just, you know, you have that time with it and it's burning, and your prayers for protection, your spell work for protection are going out into the universe as that candle burns down. So that's one way you can do it. However, if you don't have time, or if you want to do this too, you can also pinch that candle out. Say you don't have time to sit for a whole tea light to burn down or a whole taper to burn down. You can pinch it out. Now, we always pinch out our candles. We don't blow them, because blowing is like, okay, that spell is over. But you can pinch out the candle and then you could put it away. And then the next day or the next time you want to get up and light that candle, use that candle again, light it again. And then as that candle burns down, you can use it to light another candle. And now you're making this bridge, this continuous connection between the first time you did that spell to the times over and over and over and over again that you've worked that protective magic. And so that's a really cool thing to do. And then you're carrying that magic forward. So basically, you know, what I want to say is build yourself a practice, find what works for you. And as you grow and strengthen power, do it consistently. Even if you only have a few minutes, I'll share with you, you know, I some days I can't get off a few ritual, but I can get up, you know, I mean, a big ritual, but I can get up and say my prayers and greet the moon and light a candle or do my LBRP. I've been doing it for years. So it's something that I know by heart. So I see we're out of time. I think we're going to the chat now. So I want to just say, I think I've hit my time here. So sorry. And I think we're here on the chat now. So I guess we're taking questions. If anybody has a question. I see the chats on the screen. Hi, Debbie from New Orleans. Hello, everybody. Hi, Rosie. Hello, Mar Garbry. Nice to meet you. Hi, Junior. Hi, Rachel. Tifa. Hi, Tifa. Hi, Birkin. Oh, hi, Birkin. Hi, Summer, Elizabeth, Sharon Hicks. Oh, this is so great. Yes, you can make. Thank you, Patty. Yes, you can make your own Florida water. Great question. I don't have a recipe, but you can go out online and look up tons of recipes to make your own Florida water. I don't have that kind of gift, so I kind of I like purchasing it in the bottle, but you can definitely make your own Florida water. Hi, Dina. Hi, April. Scott. Akalia from Texas. That looks great. Hi, Patty. Um, oh, I'm so glad. Thank you guys. Practical magic. Yes, thank you who said that. Bats. Yes, I try to keep it practical. Mickey. Hi, Mickey. Yes, I do practical magic, and that's one of my favorite movies. Do I ever use sigils for protection? Yeah, I kind of do. I don't really, I'm not too well versed in sigils, but I like to use the success sigil for success. So yes, that's one I use. And is there anything part of washing up as a daily routine? Yes, anoint yourself with Florida water. That's what I like to do. Anoint myself with it. Symbol of the pentagram. Yes, I make the symbol of the pentagram over myself. Do I find it's daily practice or something quicker? Well, it's part of my daily practice. So it's quick only because I've done it for years. How do you shred the red brick, mortar and pedestal? You can like, hit it on the ground, take a hammer to it. Oh, that's fun. Get a hammer. Got this hammer. Chunk off a piece of red brick. Oh, somebody's putting up some recipes. Johnny B. Thanks for the recipe. Take a chunk and take a hammer and chunk off a piece of red brick and put it in a mortar and pedestal and then grind that up until it gets really, like a powder. And then you can put it through a sieve too to kind of get all the chunks out of it. Then you can use that up. Can you explain wrapping red railroad spikes with a red ribbon? I have never wrapped a railroad spike with a red ribbon, but red is a symbol of protection. So I suppose if you wanted to wrap it with a red ribbon, why not? Go ahead, use it. I use ribbons, the different colors of ribbons when I make mojos. I sometimes tie ribbons on them. Uh, let's see. A white person practicing hoodoo or voodoo. Okay, we're going to answer that question real quick because I get that question all the time. So, hoodoo is a folk magic practice. Okay, anybody can practice hoodoo. You don't need to be initiated into hoodoo. Hoodoo mainly comes out of African Americans who were enslaved and came to the South, and their practices, along with Native American people that they met and European peasants that they met. And so, it's uh, root magic. It's the magic of the people, the peasants. And, but voodoo is a religion. Okay. So voodoo is a religious practice, and it's one that as you decide to move forward in it, it does require initiation. And so it's just like people being baptized. You can go to the church, you can go see ceremonies, but if you want to be, call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, you need to be initiated. And even in witchcraft, there are traditions of witchcraft and covens where if you want to move further in that, you need to be initiated. So that's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo in a really quick little sound bite. What resources for beginners? My book. Get Good Juju. That's very helpful. I found that to be really, I've tried to write things to be helpful for beginning. My favorite stone or crystal for protection. Ooh, I'm a big person for smoky quartz. I love smoky quartz. I'm just totally attracted to smoky quartz. I love the darkness of it. I love when you look inside of it, you can see all kinds of things going on inside of it. I also like amethyst just for that nice calming feeling that amethyst gives you. And then clear quartz. I mean, you can't go wrong with clear quartz. The name of my book, here's my book. I hope you can see it. It's backwards, but Good Juju, Mojos, Rites, and Practices for the Magical Soul. And quartz is a good amplifier. So whatever you put quartz around, it amplifies that. So that's why people use quartz. And quartz is a wonderful. Just when I first started doing magic, that's all I did was buy clear quartz. I just couldn't get enough of it. Yes, Yolanda, thank you. I am writing a new book in the Good Juju series. Hopefully, I'm going to be finished with it this year, but it's going to be on working on deeper, more powerful juju for troubled times. And it's going to be working with powerful feminine allies to help us in times of trouble. And I'm really, really excited about that because I get to go a little bit deeper and I get to talk about powerful women, mythological women, real women, contemporary women, and how to work with them during troubled times. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see. Thank you for loving my book. I really appreciate that. Yes, I'm excited about it. It's been hard writing, I won't say, but with all the stuff that's going on, but I'm getting there, and I've already signed the contract for it, so all I have to do is finish writing it. So that's very helpful. So that'll be exciting, and it's been fun researching mythological goddesses and contemporary women, and it's going to be quite fun. And hopefully, it will help people when times of trouble come to them because, none of us escape sorrow. I don't care who you are, the sorrow will find you, and hard times will find you. And I think if you have some resources to help you through, that's a good thing. And there's lots of magical people in the world, people who have lived, those who have gone before us, who have lived through troubled times, and we can work with them and call upon them to help us. Is there any goddess you work with most for protection? I came into hoodoo and then into voodoo through Marie Laveau, the divine Marie Laveau, and she is an icon of protection. So, and one of the things that people don't know about her is that she also was a healer of the sick and the infirmed. So she happens to be what I call a spiritual ancestor for me. I'm not a member of her real family, but she is a spiritual guide for me. So, and I do just love Marie Laveau. Let's see. Someone who thinks it's evil besides is hoodoo evil? No, it's not evil. Anybody who studies magic seriously, Llewellyn is a great resource for all kinds of books on the craft and on magic. And the authors who write them are real people. That's what I love about it. So no, there's nothing evil about it. That comes from people's intentions. If everything has to start with your intention. And I want to say that I do protective magic out of the intention for protection, for self-protection for my friends and loved ones. It's not about trying to harm somebody and I don't support that. And I won't support that. So yeah, no evil there. And Louisiana witch, hoodoo, but a bit daunting. Florida water, brick dust, and it worked brilliantly. Yay! Good for you. That's great. That's great. I love the smell of Florida water. It's awesome. Um, let's see what else. And yes, Marie Laveau, she did. She healed the sick. And what martial art did I take? Shaolin Kung Fu, baby. Shaolin Kung Fu. And that's another thing. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to mention that. Shaolin Kung Fu, and I've been blessed to travel to China and actually go to the Shaolin Temple where the concrete steps are bent or bowed from the monks. It comes from monks, the most peaceful people in the world. But why did they have to study martial arts? Because they got tired of their temples being raided. They got tired of getting their ass kicked. And so, yeah, they're like, yeah, we can sit in meditation all day, but we're getting hurt here. So, that comes from the most peaceful people on the planet. That's where Kung Fu comes from. So, yes. Will I ever do an oracle deck? I would love to. I hope so. I hope so. If I could get off an oracle deck, a good Juju oracle deck, maybe Llewellyn's listening. That would be great. That would be really great. Let's see. Simple difference between simple and essential oils. I've only ever heard them termed essential oils. I did study herbs for a while. Actually, that's how I came into working with the goddess. Um, but I've only heard them termed essential oils, so I'm probably not a good reference on that one. Good Juju Oracle deck. Okay, so now we have the third project, right? Yes, I'm down for one more question. Okay, Llewellyn's asking me. Yes, I have one more question. Anybody else have a question here? Thank you. Thank you saying I'm down to earth. I try to keep it real, and I only speak for me. I want to say that just for me, I only share what authentically works for me, and I don't speak for any group or organization. I just try to keep it real and authentic, what I've learned over the years, and share that with other people who like magic, want to believe in magic and practice. Do I have any suggestions for lifting grief? Yes, pour water to your ancestors, for those who have gone before you. Pour water to them and say their names every day. And I pour water to my ancestors every day, and I put people's names in it who have passed. I put George Floyd's name in there. I put my animal families in there, and my friends, my loved ones who have gone before them. And every day I pour water to them. So just fill up some water. And if you really want to know how to do it, you can read about it in my book. I tell you exactly how to do it. Uh, can you perform any spell work? Of course. Yes, you can perform spell work on top of your pentacle. Yes, it is. It's your foundation. Yes, you can definitely do that. Um, what else do I have in here? Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Rachel. Oh, thanks so much, everybody. It's been great. This has been a wonderful time to be here and share some tips in this brief time we've had together. Thank you so much. Thank you, Llewellyn, and thanks for all that you do to help be positive change. I'm very happy to be part of the Llewellyn family. And I wish all the authors and LlewellynCon who are coming on to do this with everybody, I wish them all good presentations, and this is really great, and thank you to everybody who's working to learn magic and spell work to be positive change on our planet, because we all need, everybody needs the help that you can get. Um, let's see. Well, your Facebook page, let me know when I'm doing another speaking like this. Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't have anything lined up at the moment, but perhaps I should. I can look into doing something like that. This is fun. Let's see what else. Thank you, Nolan 1990. Thank you so much. And Teresa, I appreciate your support. And thank you, Llewellyn. Thanks so much. I think we're getting ready to go off here.